while the Southern African Development Community, SADC, will host its 41st Ordinary Summit of Heads of State and Government in Lilongwe, Malawi next Tuesday and Wednesday with a limited number of delegates so as to observe COVID-19 protocols. The summit will be preceded by a Council of Ministers meeting that will be held in hybrid format whereby a limited number of delegates will attend physically while others will attend through virtual platforms. To help us understand the importance of the upcoming summit, I'm now joined by Dr. Charles Mubita, who has held key positions for the SADC Secretariat. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Mubita. Good morning.
Good morning and welcome.
Welcome to the program this morning. Now, Dr. Mubita, let's just start. You've worked and held key positions for the SADC Secretariat as well as for our Namibian government. Talk to us about the importance of SADC and just how does Namibia benefit from it?
Well, there are many ways in which Namibia benefits from SADC. Not only because it was a founding member of SADC, but the main benefits are the economic development in terms of regional integration. You'll recall that, because of SADC, we have the Trans-Kalahari and the Trans-Caprivi highways.
Yes.
And these were brought because of regional integration in terms of enhancing exports, duty-free. Namibia enjoys exports. We export our things and we get duty-free access to the economies of other countries. For example, Botswana, Lesotho, Swaziland, South Africa. Now, deepening regional integration has elevated Namibia's benefits, particularly in terms of infrastructure development, free trade areas, the peace and security, because regional integration cannot operate outside or without stability.
Yeah.
It is necessary that Namibia has acceded to the SADC Strategic Indicative Development Plan, the SIPO, which oversees peace and stability in the region. And that makes it easy and brings a conducive environment for investors to come to Namibia, to invest in Namibia. You realize that through SADC efforts and integration efforts, a new harbour is being built in Walvis Bay. So the benefits of Namibia to SADC are quite many. They're quite many.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Dr. Mubita, let's speak about the theme, for the summit, which is bolstering productive capacities in the face of COVID-19 pandemic for inclusive, sustainable economic and industrial transformation. In your opinion, does it speak to the current situation in SADC? Well,
the theme does, because I think it is time that SADC starts producing for itself.
Yeah.
Let's produce what we eat. Let's produce our own medicine. I think it's the COVID-19 is a wake-up call for SADC. It's a wake-up call for many countries. And I think the theme is befitting because right now we are receiving donations in order to fight COVID-19.
Yeah.
So I think it is more about sustainable self-sufficiency. So the theme speaks to sustainable self-sufficiency, that SADC member states should be able to produce for themselves and not rely on handouts.
Yeah. Yeah. And the objective of the summit is of course to accelerate the implementation of the SADC Regional Indicative Strategic Development Plan 2020-2030. In your opinion, what does the community, the SADC community, need to focus on?
Well, I think the most important thing for the community right now is implementation.
Yeah.
You'll understand that the Regional Indicative Strategic Development Plan was conceived in 2001. It was adopted in 2003, I believe. It became operational in 2005. It was supposed to have been a 15-year plan from 2005 to 2020. But it hasn't been implemented because some of the milestones of that RSDIP is that it's supposed to have brought in free trade area, which has been done. It was supposed to bring in the customs union, the common market, and the common currency. And we are still very far from getting there. So I think, to me, the most important thing is implementation on the part of member states. The Regional Indicative Strategic Development Plan is a very good and comprehensive development and implementation framework, which is supposed to be guiding regional integration. But I think harmonization of policies, in terms of trade policies, foreign policies, military policies, and other policies that need to make regional integration to become much more implementable and enhance cooperation. That's where the problem is. I think we need to speak with one voice. The member states need to see things from one vantage point of view.
Yeah, yeah. Among the key highlights of the 41st SADC Summit, the Executive Secretary of SADC, Dr. Lawrence Tax, will bid farewell to the SADC heads of state and government, this after 8 years of service. Dr. Mubita, how would you rate his term?
Actually, Stegomena Lawrence Tax is a lady, and she, luckily, she was appointed in the Lilongwe in 2013. So after 18 years, and she's going to relinquish the same position in the Lilongwe. I would say her tenure, her 8-year tenure, has been disrupted by a number of things: COVID, instability in the region, and other things. But otherwise, she is an astute administrator. She has, I think, steered SADC towards trying to implement most of its protocols and most of its undertakings.
And in your opinion, where do you think her predecessor can take over?
Well, the predecessor will be taking over from a very difficult time. We are in COVID-19. You see, SADC is basically the secretariat that the person is going to be running.
Yeah.
It's a strategic planning institution, which is supposed to be making plans and try to liaise with member states to implement these plans. Now, you can only do these things face to face. So it's more a meeting secretariat.
Yeah.
You meet member states. So through virtual meetings and all that, I don't know. It's going to be a bit difficult. It's uncharted waters. So I think the incoming executive secretary will have a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, yeah. Now, we are aware that SADC and COMESA will receive about 2.5 million in combined grants from the African Development Bank to advance intra-regional harmonization of electricity regulations as well as to drive cross-border power trading. Just how vital is this grant?
It is very vital. I think electrification is one of the major challenges in the SADC region. It is something that could have been offset a long time ago with the INGA project. Unfortunately, I think SADC member states were not very focused.
Yeah. Because
the INGA project would have solved our electricity problems. Then you had the Caprivi interconnector, which was also aimed at, alleviating some electricity challenges for Namibia, Botswana, Zambia, and Angola, and Zimbabwe as well. But it is now just a white elephant. There's no implementation. So hopefully this injection that is going to come from the Development Bank might go a long way, but it all depends on how we implement these projects. They are very good on paper. Budgets come in. At the end of the budget, you don't even know what has happened to the money.
Yeah. Now, the Mozambique president, Felipe Nyusi, on a visit to the troubled northern Cabo Delgado province on Monday, unveiled the Southern African troops which were sent to fight the region's insurgents. What are the interventions should SADC look at in resolving the situation in Mozambique?
Every SADC member state knows who supports those rebels. We know them. We know the countries that support them. We know where they get their arms. So military intervention is fine. But I think diplomatic intervention to try to talk to the supporters of these people would go a long way as well. So it's not just a question of confrontation. I mean, we need to talk to the people who are, sponsoring these people. We are failing to resolve a simple issue of the DRC because we just look at the military part of it. Yet those who are sponsoring rebels in the DRC are busy, extracting minerals while the war is going on. But the same people, and we know them. So it's the same in Mozambique. I think these rebels, the people who sponsor them are known. So SADC should, at least engage in a multi-pronged approach, not only military.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Mubita. Any final remarks this morning?
Well, nothing really. Just to say, I wish those who are going to go to the SADC summit to have fruitful discussions and to ensure that they put the region first.
Thank you so much for that, sir. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I hope you have a blessed day ahead.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Well, there you have it. That's Dr. Charles Mubita, who's a political analyst, speaking to us about the 41st Ordinary Summit of Heads of State and Government that will take place in Lilongwe, Malawi, next Tuesday and Wednesday. And also just speaking to us about the situation in SADC at the moment and about what's happening in Mozambique and what SADC countries can do to help with these problems. We'll be